gang. Welcome back to Georgia. Sexy. So, we got to the 8 p.m. dusk turn on the 19th of September. So I played 2 days of the game. And I thought to myself, so you have the option to play. You can end it at 8 p.m. on the 19th or 8 p.m. on the 20th. And I said, well, let's see what the victory conditions are like. So I went through all the basic victory conditions, and I need to check one more. And it has to do with this line of communication. And as a matter of fact, now that I've said that, I need to look real quick at the scenario rules. And I'm going to do that while you all glance at that miraculously marvelous board sitting there. In 1 second, I'll be right with y'all. Where is it? That's the terrible sound. I played a barren victory. So you can play all 3 days. Okay. So I decided, let's check the victory conditions. Okay. And you've got your victory conditions for broken and crushed units, artillery, infantry, and cavalry. Then you have the sort of decimated brigades or decimated divisions. You get some points for that. So I said, okay, so let's start going through it. And you got your victory location ones that you got to count for those. And if you're stopping on the 19th, which it looks like I'm going to do because I got a couple other ventures I need to tackle, you use half the victory points. So let's recap what the battlefield looks like. All right? So I spread out all the casualties over here so I could get a better count. These are units that were crushed and broken, which really the only use for the crushed and broken box is that when you're playing the night rules, the crushed units are a little harder to recover. A little different process, so that's why you have the different. Plus, broken units can be recovered if a formation has a defense order. You can try to recover your broken units. All right, you can't do that with a crushed unit. Crushed units only have the opportunity during night turns under specific conditions. All right, so Hood and with Law and Johnson's brigade, which he would be getting Kershaw in the morning, bright and early. As a matter of fact. Their attack pretty much got bogged down over here. Rosecrans was able to get Reynolds' division up in here now, and they struck hard. Matter of fact, they struck so hard that they took out victory location back from the Confederates. I think it was a 3-pointer maybe, so it ended up being like a 1.5 or something like that. The Rebs attack here in the woods, never really. They ended up getting chased back with some skedaddle results right there. They had a bad close assault on that hex right here with these Union soldiers. They did chase this one back, but they had a bad result with that one. They did push in this over here, so they were opening this gap up here. Problem, this is all thick woods through here. So moving through there was going to be tough. Cheatham's units are trying to get over here. They were trying to get over here, but it's such slow going to get them over because I kept the Cheatham units that were already over here. They were good units, and I kept putting them in attack formation or attack mode, so these guys couldn't get here in division by group. Cleburne, well, he's across. Breckinridge, he's across. Problem is, you got Sheridan and Davis's divisions are going to get in there probably and cut them and stop them. Don't know. It all depends on how the dice goes. So I got to take those markers off. But they are across, and Cleburne's got a very good unit. Breckinridge's unit's not too bad. There's a 5 in there, cohesion, and 4. So I started calculating up all the victory conditions. First off, AMFS was great, okay? Most Fearful Sacrifice was great. This is number 2. It's also great. I don't know much about Chickamauga like I do Gettysburg, but what a fantastic game this has provided. It's proven to be using this Black Swan system. Could you go any better? I don't know. Now with these 2 systems, Herman's got to do a lot more work because we're going to need more of these, all right? So let me get out my board here. And I started calculating victory points. See if we can't get them there. Okay. So you see the numbers. I went down the USA side for victory location. These are all cut in half. And then the CSA side. So for victory locations, the Yanks got 25.5 points. The Rebs only got 11.5. All right. They honestly need to push. Well, I don't want to say they didn't push hard because I was doing my best. But they honestly need that next day. And I really think that center attack on the next day with Cheatham, if he gets some more troops in there, maybe Preston, get him going too. They might be able to push through that center and drive the Yanks off. All right, for units that were destroyed, as you can see, 20 Confederate infantry or cavalry units broken or crushed, 4 for artillery, 12 for 2 brigades that were more than 75% losses that were off the battlefield, and 10 for a division. All right. Yes, the Confederates actually had a division that were just totally messed up. The Rebs got 16 points for units, 12 for arty. They killed a lot of Union arty. 6 for 2 brigades, and then 5 for a division. Okay. The Yanks get a lot more than the Rebs do. All right. So it came out to 20.5 points for them at half. All right, because it was 41 points. I cut it in half to 20. So the ultimate end number was 48.5 to 31.5. Definite Union victory. Okay, now, the thing that I have not calculated, because I don't think I'm going to need to, although I'm glad I read it because the rule's a little trickier, and that is this line of communication to get them off the map up here. All right? So the case is any unit that is within 5 movement points of a road or minor road, trail, whatever it is, and that road is a free path all the way back to Rossville. So you've got all this back here, all these roads back here that they can get out on. So the Union line down through here along this road is all fine. So all these guys down here, they're probably okay because of that road and that trail there, all right, or minor road, whatever it is. All these guys here are good because they can trace back this way, so they can trace back this way and out. So if the Rebs would have been able to stay across the river here, that might have changed that a little bit. All right. These guys in here, most of them can go, let's see, 1, 2, see, he can't, but he can this way. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the road, 5 movement points. So all of these guys are going to hit this road, and they're going to follow that road right on over to the Rossville Gap, okay? All of these guys right here are good. Now, the ones I had questions about. And I don't think it's going to be enough to change it. I got to look at to see if the Confederates get victory points for these trapped units, because I think they're supposed to be considered broken. They're supposed to be considered like broken units, I believe. Let's see. Yep, 1 victory point per 4 Union infantry. Okay, so the Union player scores victory points for units that have either moved off the map entirely or can trace. All right, so they receive victory points. I'm not seeing anything. It just says here that the Union does not score any victory points at Giddings End for trapped units. Wow, I wonder if it would have been nice if it would have been to the Confederates. The major road or line tracing cannot come within 2 hexes of a Confederate unit at any point. So this over here is fine. This over here is fine because they're going to trace out and down. All right. This right here. So we got some units that are going to be trapped here. All right. They can't trace there now because of that unit sitting right there. Okay. And these units sitting right here. They can't use this road because this unit or this unit or this unit is all sitting right there within 2 hexes. So the odds are, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, he's good. All of them can trace back. But this guy here, these 4 units, this unit, and these units, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, he can't. All of these units right here, he's good. He's good. He wouldn't be, so he would be trapped. Well, 1, 2, 3, no. Trap. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 stacks it would be trapped. Okay? I know everybody was thinking, and I was too initially, that, this was the road right here. But you're not. You've got this major thoroughfare back here, and it goes all the way back here too. So they had room to maneuver. So definitely by the scoring, I wonder if the Confederates would get victory points for them being trapped, which, unless I'm missing it, I don't see that in there. That might have changed it because, let's say it was 1 point for each one of those. You'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 points, and if you cut that in half, it's 8. No, it would give them 39. Even if it was that, it would only give them 39 and a half. So definite Union victory. They held their ground long enough on the 19th. Would like to have gone on the 20th, but like I said, I got some other adventures I need to get onto. But this is definitely a game that it'll get played again sometime down the road because it's well worth it. All right. What a phenomenal system this has been. It's been, come on, I've been playing for more than a month, I guess. It's been a blast to play this thing. The way the cards fall, what happens during Fog of War, what card pops up after the Friction of War card, or vice versa, whatever it is. How many times I had like Bragg or a core activation card that popped up or something like that, that I couldn't use, or I had to take a dice roll subtractor on it or something like that. Leader casualties. I had 2 leaders. Stewart, who suffered 2. Brannon suffering 2. Okay, both of those leaders got taken out. Wounded, killed, whatever. None of them came back in. I never actually hit those rolls on the Friction or the Fog of War stuff after that. Cavalry and artillery, once they're battle worn or once they go off into the broken box, or they cannot come back in, cavalry and artillery, because obviously a lot of the horses were probably shot up and you're not just going to replace those in the middle of the battle, more than likely. So, but where are the potential decision points? Well, here's the dilemma. It's about to be nighttime. People got to go into bivouac or they're going to be fatigued, okay? Adjacent units are not going to be able to do certain things in bivouac, adjacent to enemy units, but the Confederates would maybe change the division priority to move some of these units into that gap right there and then go into bivouac. All right, Cleburne, this is the dust turn, so this would have been one more turn of fighting over here with the dusk rules in effect of adjacent, stuff like that. If they could stay on this side of the river and go into bivouac, that could be a benefit to the Confederates when the sun comes up in the next morning. But I still think that with all these forces down here, the Confederates' best effort was going to be right here. Who knows what Hood would do once Kershaw shows up and gets over here. Who else? I think that's the only one that's missing is Kershaw. And then a couple, like I say, looks like there's a division missing from Mitchell's cavalry, which, yeah, there it is right there. Who's that? Yeah. That whoever CCMC, whoever MC is, which I don't have it on there. So, but other than that, and then Wheeler's cavalry looks like they have a division. So, and Wheeler's cavalry never did anything. All they did was hold that entry point on the other side of this stream down here because his forces never come on. So that's where that one unit from Wheeler has been sitting the whole game. All right, and you'll notice he's behind logworks now, dismounted cavalry. So, yeah. So there you have it. Rocket Chickamauga, the Black Swan from Flying Pig Games, Herman Lutman game. Again, I think you need to play one of the full day scenarios. Probably the 19th would be a good one, or the 20th would be a good one to get the full taste of the battle. The 18th stuff is just kind of a feeling out type thing. I mean, the Confederates could probably, set this thing up for an easy victory on the 18th if they could make a push in the right places right off the bat. But I wasn't quite able to do it. Probably because Stedman's activation came so early and he got a full-blown activation and was able to move to cut off Forced from moving up that road way over there. So, but there you go. Union victory. 2 days of this game has been played. And we're going to take her down. I'm playing some of the blind sword stuff. I got Shiloh set up. I'm going to be playing that one. And I got to get Inflection Point on the table. I can't take it anymore. I love BCS. I want to get that on. So I think we're going to try to take a spin at that. And I've still got Gettysburg 77 before this year's out. I want to do that Gettysburg 77. So we're going to wrap this up, mark this one up for Rosecrans. He gets a victory, although he's probably already back in Chattanooga by now, and Thomas is running the show. I laugh. But the Rosecrans, I think his card actually did a pretty good job in this game because he controlled Wilder, and Wilder was always able to move when Rosecrans was activated. So there you have it. Billy Yank gets a win, and we'll talk to y'all soon.